Alright, so adding rational numbers. One of the first things you need to know is that when we have fractions, to add fractions, they have to have a common denominator. That's the first thing you need to know.
9 and 7.
And so I'm going to just give you examples because I think that's going to be more beneficial to you than if I give you a bunch of notes to write. But the main thing is that you have to have common denominators. So the first one we're going to do is 1 1/5.
9.
It's a negative 1 1/5 plus negative 3/5.
Okay, now count them all.
Now the good news is this already has a common denominator, doesn't it? But the other thing we have is that we have to determine what we do. Same sign, so what do we do? This is just like when we were adding integers before that were whole numbers. Now we have fractions. So what was the rule about adding?
15.
Remember the rule?
15.
So the denominators have to be the same?
Yes, but also same signs
1.
means we do what?
16.
Add.
We add. So let's think of it this way. We have negative 1. Forget about this 1 for the negative sign for a minute. Let's just put if we stack it. If there's nothing here, we can put a placeholder if you would like to. Some people like to do that. You can put a placeholder 0. What's 1/5 plus 3/5? It's kind of like what we did with our bell work yesterday when we had 1/2 and a half, right? We had 1/2 plus 1/2, we got 1. Here we have 1/5 plus 3/5. That means I have how much? Journey? 4/5. That's right. 1/5 plus 3/5 is 4/5. Then 1 plus 0 is 1. Since they are both negative, then the answer must be
Negative 1.
negative 1 4/5.
Good job.
Okay, the next one we have does not have a common denominator. So if we have number 7, we have negative 9/14 plus 2/7. So what do we have to do first? What's the rule? No, what's the first rule?
Oh.
Fractions must have common denominators. Does that have a common denominator?
No.
Is there anything we could do to one of them to get a common denominator?
You're showing something else.
What could we do, Raina? No, I can't subtract. I have to get this to be the same as this, or this to be the same as this.
5.
What do you think, Miguel? Not divide,
Multiply.
This one?
multiply. What if I multiply this by something, which means I also have to multiply this by something? What could I multiply this by to get this?
7. No, 2.
I could multiply 7 by 2, which means I would multiply 2 by 2. So now I have a negative 9/14 plus 2 times 2 is 4, and 7 times 2 is 14. Now we go back to those rules of subtraction and addition. Different signs means we do what?
Subtract.
Different signs means subtract. So what is 9 minus 4?
5.
5. What is our common denominator?
14.
So that stays. Do we have more negatives or more
More
positives?
negative.
So then the answer must be
Negative.
Negative.
That one?
5.
14.
Okay. I put a number on there because that was. What if we had, I want to do another example, but I don't want to give you the one that you're going to have on your homework.
Which one's green?
Now we have decimals.
Which one's pink? Wait, let's do it. It's not pink.
Let's go back to our
Okay.
rules.
Okay.
Do those have the
That's
same
right,
signs or
that's
different
color,
signs?
And then the card,
different.
so.
Different signs means
This
we
one, right?
subtract.
Yellow, yellow, purple.
I'm going to stack this
Which one's green?
Green.
so that my decimal points line up.
Okay, touch it. Match
Can I
the
do 5
colors.
minus
Blue,
7?
blue.
No,
Nope, so I have to do what
Good,
here?
good. Pink.
take out the 6.
I gotta borrow from the 6. The 6 becomes 5 and the
Which
5
one's brown?
becomes 15. What is 15 minus 7?
Okay, now we have to match them.
8,
Bring down my decimal. 5 minus 4 is 1. So I have, my answer is 1.8. But then I have to come back up and look. Do I have more negatives or more positives?
Let's
More
do-
negatives.
More negatives because isn't 6 bigger than 4?
Let's pick the bigger one. Okay. Which one is
Okay.
smaller? Which one's bigger?
Bugger.
Okay, I wanna do one more with you.
Which one's smaller?
Bugger.
Which one's bigger?
Bugger.
Which one's smaller?
Small.
Which one's bigger?
Bugger.
Which one's smaller? Oh, smaller. There you go.
Alright, same signs or different
Okay.
signs?
different,
So what are we gonna do?
subtract.
Smaller.
We're going to subtract. Thomas, I feel like you're with me. Thank you. Good job. Come on, guys, everybody else, let's go.
That's first.
So I have to subtract. So I'm going to take my, we know that 12 is bigger than 10, so 12 goes on the top.
Yeah.
And then remember, I line up my decimals, so the 10 goes under the 12. And then we have
Which
6,
one is a
3,
triangle?
6. Except for we don't have a number there.
0,
What should I
Oh,
put
you have
there?
to match 'em.
0. Can we do 0 minus 6?
no, borrow the 8.
We're gonna borrow from the 8, that becomes a 7. This becomes 10, what's 10 minus 6, Miguel?
Okay, which one?
4, thank you.
Oh, you have to match them.
7 minus 3,
Okay.
Journey?
Match.
Can't hear ya.
This one and this one.
Thank you. Can we do 4 minus 6,
Ah.
Luke?
4 mine, no,
Nope, so we're gonna have to do what with the 2?
borrow.
We're gonna
No.
borrow from the 2, that becomes 1. This becomes 14. What's 14 minus 6, Luke?
8,
8. Then I bring my decimal point down.
Hey,
1
yes.
minus 0?
this is a tough one.
I know.
1,
Thank you. And 1 minus 1 is 0, so we can just have 1.844. Do we have more positives or more negatives?
more positive,
More positives, so the answer will remain positive. The biggest thing there is to remember to put your placeholder 0. Okay? Anybody have questions so far?
no,
Okay, let's look at one last. We're gonna do one last one. 15 over 4, make a 4 and a third. What should you do when you're doing the homework if you can't remember how to do these?
notes,
What should you do? Notes? What else could you do? Google Classroom for what? What's on Google Classroom?
here, wait till you get it.
What's Mrs. Creppy doing right now? Taking a video. What could
Watch
you
the
do with that video?
Watch it.
Right, so if you get stuck on something, you're like, I don't know what to do, go and look at the video. All right, if you notice, this is an improper fraction. What makes this an improper fraction? Luke?
The bigger numbers on top.
Right, a number on top is bigger than the denominator. Our numerator is bigger than our denominator. So, I would recommend that we do the same thing with this right here. I think it will make it easier for you. Okay? So, what we could do is 4 times 3. What's 4 times 3? 12, plus we add 1 to that, 13. So we have a negative 13 over 3. Then I'm going to bring down my 15 over 4.
Thank you, we'll tell Miss Humphrey, okay?
What we have here, though,
Different.
they're different denominators, and what's the rule? Fractions have to have common denominators. How can we get this to be a common denominator? What are 4 and 3 both factors of?
Divide.
We can multiply, but what are 4 and 3 both factors of? Let's count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And 4s, let's do 4 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. What are they both factors of?
12.
Okay, what do I have to multiply 4 by to get 12? 3. 4 times 3, which means I have to multiply that by 3. So 15 times 3 is 45. 4 times 3 is 12. What do I have to multiply 3 by to get 12? By 4. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 4, which means I multiply 13 times 4. 3 times 4, remember this is negative, so we have a negative. This is 12, and then 13 times 4 is 52. So I did that up there if you're not sure. Okay. Same signs or different signs?
Different.
Different signs, so we're going to
Subtract.
subtract 52 minus 45. I cannot do 2 minus 5, so I'm going to have to borrow from this 5, make it 4. It's 12 minus 5 is 7. So my answer is 7 over 12. Do I have more positives or more negatives? I have more negatives, so my answer is a negative 7/12. Okay, that's a lot. You should have all of this on your paper. You have the video that I'm going to post that you can watch. And you do have, for you guys, we're going to do 2 to 12 evens. So tell me what, not 2, I'm sorry, 4 to 12 evens. So tell me what that would be. What numbers? 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. How many is that?
5.
You got 5 problems for homework tonight. That's
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna give us like 20.
Nope.
I know.
So go ahead and get started.
I was like, it's a Friday too. I was like, I don't